Louisiana Beer Review Special Edition. Lite from Miller wins gold at the 2014 Great American Beer Festival. Well, that's not super big news because it has won 2 silver medals previously in its history at the Great American Beer Festival and World Beer Cup. And it has already won, before 2014, 5 gold medals in competition for the light beer category. Now, so they were very happy about that at SAB-Miller, as you can imagine. They also won a Major Brewer of the Year, I believe, and Dr. David Ryder, their brewmaster, was given an award for brewing excellence. This is an interesting beer. I know some people that, man, they are dedicated to this beer. I mean, this is all they drink. You could give them 50 craft beers to choose from, or this, and they're gonna pick Miller Lite. It's kind of like my father, you know. You could bring him to an exotic ice cream shop, and they could have 100, 200, 300 different flavors, and he would say, "Oh, I want vanilla." It's just, I say, "Why you want vanilla?" "Oh, I like it, damn it." So anyway, and that's how these dedicated Miller Lite drinkers are. They like this, and they'll tell you, "I want something good. This. I don't want that trash, that garbage you drink. You freak." That's how they look at me, you know, like, "Why are you drinking all that trash?" I'm drinking Chimay on reserve, okay, and they're saying, "Looks like mud to me." Anyway, you know, it has a super frothy head, and it's going to leave thick, heavy lacing on the sides. Miller beers leave that thick, or that heavy lacing. The funny thing about this beer is that Miller did not invent it. I mean, they say on their ads they invented light beer. Well, if you really get in their website and you start to check their stuff out carefully, it does have some interesting roastiness. It's made with water, barley malt, hops and yeast, malt, hop extract, and corn syrup. It says that on the website. Certified kosher, says that on the cans. 92 calories, 4.2% alcohol. You can pick up the corn syrup, the corn. If you ever get the whole kernel corn, the can, it's kind of tastes like that, except without the salt. You know, it's not going to have the salt, but it's going to have the sweetness. Then you're picking up barley, and it's triple filtered, triple hopped, but it doesn't really mean much because the hopping is so light. It's like maybe they put one hop pellet in the boil, and then later they put another hop pellet, and then later at the end they put a third hop pellet. So if you're into hoppy beers, this is not the beer to get. Anyway, in the 1960s, there was a company called Meisterbrau. You might remember Meisterbrau and Meisterbrau Lite. Very low budget Miller beers that Miller reformulated and reintroduced in 1983. Meisterbrau. It was killed off in 2005, however, because Meisterbrau and Milwaukee's Best were sort of cannibalizing each other because they were both the low-budget Miller beers. And I guess Milwaukee's Best had better sales, and they killed Meisterbrau. Interesting, though, because Meisterbrau, Milwaukee's Best, and this Lite, L-I-T-E, were all developed by companies that Miller acquired through buyouts. But the little Meisterbrau company of Chicago is a regional brewer, you know, like Hootapole or Dixie Brewing or Pearl. And they had this idea. They weren't the first, but they had an idea to come out with a diet beer marketed toward women. It's called Lite, L-I-T-E. light diet beer from Meisterbrow. You can look at some old ads on the internet and they'll show a woman in leotards. You know, it's like the focus of the ads is if the focus of the ads was if you're looking to lose weight, drink this lady beer, and the sales were minimal. Men were not going to drink a lady diet beer. Okay, Miller bought Meisterbrow in 1972. What was left of it. But this guy, I can't remember this guy's name, but he died. But he was like sort of like a marketing genius, right? So he was the head honcho at Miller, Philip Morris, and he said this beer is not marketed correctly, and they probably did some improvements in the flavor or whatever. They marketed it in 1973 with a different approach, aimed toward men. It has great taste. I don't know about great taste. It has very little taste, but anyway, and it's less filling. Well, it's certainly less filling than your regular beers. The results were quite positive. So in 1975, with a redesigned can, this can, or something very similar to this. If you look on the Miller Lite website, there's a little banner, like a little poster you can call up, and it'll show all the can and bottle designs over the last 40 years. And they rolled out Miller Lite, and I remember this 7 years old up until, well, the rest of my life. You just saw these, especially in the 70s, you saw these Miller Lite, these Lite. They just said Lite back then. They would just say Lite. Commercials, and it was football players, brawny, strong guys, kind of jocular commercials promoting this beer, rah, 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 rah. And it was just a hit, a huge hit. It revolutionized the beer world. And over the next 20 years, 75 to 95, light beer took over the market. Some companies were slow to respond or didn't respond correctly, like Schlitz, which was the second largest beer company at the time. They did roll out a Schlitz Light. I don't think people liked it too much. And then around 1977, they said, well, okay, here's the better Schlitz Light. It's a better one. And they had some really nice commercials for the beer, and but it just didn't catch on. And then Schlitz kind of went down, 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 and they were bought out in '82. Anheuser-Busch seemed to look at it as like this oddity. It's not going to last. Like, how can this diet beer thing make it? But they realized they needed to respond. So in 1977, Anheuser-Busch came out with Natural Light. So you had the two big... Okay, so in the late 70s, you had the big light beers on the market. Miller Lite, your number one light beer until the 90s. Schlitz Light, which was a pretty big deal. That was discontinued in 2010, by the way. But that was a big deal at the time. Relatively big deal. And then Natural Light, with you can call me Ray, you can call me Jay, but you doesn't have to call me Johnson. Those commercials, very comedic. And so that was a popular beer. And then in '82, they decided to make a Budweiser Light. And then Natural Light was sort of relegated to a lower marketing level, became a more budget beer. It's still one of the top beers sold in America. Natural Light, I think, is number 5. This is number 3 or 4. Almost $2 billion in sales a year, and it's probably over $2 billion now, because when they came out with the retro can design, which was supposed to be a temporary summer thing, it was so big the average customer thought it was a new Miller Lite. It's the same beer, different can, and they were drinking, oh, it's better now, this beer's better than when it used to be in that blue can. So the sales shot up. I was talking to Miller Distributor. He said it's incredible. It was like, phew. They decided we're going to keep the can. It was supposed to only last till Labor Day. We're keeping the can. And he said it was so, they find it back at the warehouse. They said it's so funny to them because it's the same beer. They all knew it's the same beer in a different can. And the customers would tell them, oh, I'm glad y'all improved this beer. And they say, oh, thank you. Thank you, dummy. Anyway, it was a huge hit. So I'll be curious to see when the figures come out at the end of 2014, early 2015, if Light moved up. It's still huge, huge, huge. They had some missteps in their marketing in the 90s and the 2000s when they were feeling the major heat from Bud Light, which is the world's most popular beer. But Anyway, you know, Miller Lite, it's okay. I mean, I don't ever buy it. I bought it for the video, right? I don't ever actually buy it to drink. If I work bingo for the Knights of Columbus, they give me, you know, they'll let us drink beer for free. You know, they only drink light beer, Coors Light, Bud Light, Miller Lite. That's it. Because those Knights of Columbus guys, they want good beer, not trash like I drink. But anyway, so I mean, a few of them do drink craft specialty beers, but you know, not really too many of them. So I will drink a Miller Lite when I'm working bingo, and it's fine. I mean, I don't mind it. There's nothing wrong with the flavor. I can see how it won gold medals repeatedly in competition for the light beer category. It's not going to win best in show. It's not, you know, Affligem. They don't claim that it is. I mean, but for a light beer, I mean, I got no problem with it. I used to have a problem with it. Back in 1986, I couldn't stand it. I thought it was horrible. For 10 years, I didn't drink beer. I thought, if this was what beer tastes like, I don't want beer. I just drink Coke, Pepsi, store brand soft drinks. Then I said, nah, let me try beer. So in February 96, I started drinking beer again and I realized, hey, wait, this beer has more flavor than Miller Lite. But now I've grown up to I can accept Miller Lite. I'm not so funny about it or hateful against it like I used to be. So you know, it's fine. It's an award-winning beer. That's about all I can say about it. So if you want to drink a good light beer, it's not going to be cheap relative to other beers. I mean, it was $1.49 for the pint can. I could have bought an 18-ounce bottle of Old English for 99 cents. But then, you know, is that beer at the quality level of this? I doubt it. Thank you for watching this video production, and y'all come on down to Southeast Louisiana and all that stuff that I always say at the end of the video.